Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel. October 13th, 2017.
The Kuhner Report, presented by Kelly Financial Services.
Trump now begins to unravel Obamacare. It is the beginning of the end with a big assist from Senator Rand Paul. Okay, jam-packed show for you today, my friends. But without question, the president now goes on offense. And so, to circumvent the do-nothing Republican Congress, Trump yesterday with the pen. Remember, as Obama put it, I've got a phone and I've got a pen. Well, Trump's got a phone and he's got a pen too. And so, using his pen, he signed a new executive order essentially implementing policy ideas formulated by Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. And at its core, it says this: you are now going to be able to sell, in other words, health insurance companies can sell, and you will be able to purchase, to buy private health insurance across state lines. This is a major free market reform that will do the following. It is now going to clearly lower premiums for many people in the marketplace. It is going to dramatically increase choice, competition. It is going to drive down costs. And moreover, what's also at the heart of this plan, or at the heart of this executive order, is that now, let's say there's a truckers union, just for the sake of argument. You or Brittany or anybody can join the truckers union, not to be part of the union in terms of being a trucker, but simply for the purpose of pooling with them to purchase health insurance as a large group. Because if you're in the market as a large group, that increases your bargaining power. So you are then going to be able to purchase a health care plan through joining these larger associations or organizations that really suits your needs. Directly, specifically suits your needs, which is going to be much cheaper, tailored to what you need or what your family needs. And here's the kicker. You can take it with you from job to job. So say your employer doesn't want to give you health care. The health care that you've negotiated, say through a trade organization or a union or whatever it is that you've pooled with for the purpose of buying these health care plans, these individual plans, they're what they're called portable. You can take them with you from job to job to job. Let me put it to you this way. What Obamacare does, and this is why it is so expensive and it is literally, it's bankrupting itself. It is going broke. And that's why it's driving up costs so dramatically. In some states, over 100%. It forces people, let's say you're eating at a restaurant. You've got to get everything. There are 10 or 12 aspects of Obamacare you must purchase, and the health insurer must provide everything. Everything. Mental health care, birth control coverage, whatever it may be, pregnancy coverage, whatever it is, everything must be included, and you must pay for everything. So that's like going to a restaurant, and you're saying, look, I just want a burger. I mean, really, all I need is a burger, maybe some fries, and throw in a Diet Coke, and really I'm good. No. You've got to order the appetizer. You've got to order the salad. You've got to order the main entree. You've got to order the dessert. You even got to order a coffee. And plus, it's going to be minimum 20% gratuity, even though the service sucks. Well, that's essentially what Obamacare on health care is imposing across the country. That's why premiums are going through the roof. Deductibles are going through the roof. Healthcare costs are going through the roof. Even co-pays are doubling, in some cases tripling. So what this now does, it's a big step. It doesn't solve everything. It's not a silver bullet in terms of Obamacare. But what this does, without question, is it now, for the first time, really brings the free market to healthcare. For the first time, it empowers individual consumers, businesses, to get the healthcare plan that they want, that suits their needs, at the best price or cost available. Because now you're opening up the entire market. And now health insurers are going to have to bargain with groups, pools of associations, pools of people, or even individuals who are going to say, no, I just want the burger. I just need a good bare bones coverage. That's all I need. I don't need the whole freaking, the whole meal, the whole 6-7 course meal. I don't need it. Don't want it. Don't need it. Let me say this, and then I want to open it up to you. 617-266-6868. Obamacare is clearly collapsing. In fact, the reason why the Democrats are opposing this executive order, this free market major reform to the health care, to Obamacare, is because this is going to work. This is actually a big positive step to having a successful reform of the healthcare system. And that's why they're opposed to it. Because Obamacare was built and established to ultimately fail, to collapse, to implode from within, to pave the way for what the Democrats and the liberals really want. In fact, Elizabeth Warren's already calling for it. Bernie Sanders is already calling for it. Much of the left of the Democratic Party is already openly calling for it. They want a single-payer, socialized healthcare system, what they call, quote-unquote, Medicare for all, which is really going to be the VA for all. That's why they're opposed to it. My friends, Trump now has circumvented the Republicans, and he has now done more with Rand Paul to help rein in and begin to dismantle the monstrosity that is Obamacare than these good-for-nothing, yellow-livered Republicans were unable to do for 7 long years. They talk the talk, say what you want. Trump walks the walk. And it was no accident that Senator Rand Paul was the first to speak at the press conference yesterday, even before the president. Because in many ways, as Trump himself admitted, this was Rand Paul's baby. Roll it, Brittany.
Today's a big day. President Trump is doing what I believe is the biggest free market reform of health care in a generation. This reform, if it works and goes as planned, will allow millions of people to get insurance across state lines at an inexpensive price. 28 million people were left behind by Obamacare, do not have insurance today. This specifically targets and will help people who don't have insurance or people or for whom insurance is too expensive. I'm very glad to be part of this, and I really want to commend the president for having the boldness and the leadership and the foresight to get this done. And I'd like to introduce the Vice President of the United States.
He's dead on. Now, by the way, you're not going to hear this from the mainstream media. Obamacare does not provide universal coverage. Let me repeat that. Contrary to the lies of the media, the DNC, the Democrats, Obamacare does not and never did provide universal coverage. There are these are official government statistics, 28 million Americans who still do not have any kind of health care insurance or health care coverage. So it never insured everybody. That was another lie. Point number 2, because the deductibles are so high on many of these Obamacare packages, on people with Obamacare, because the deductibles and the premiums, but especially the deductibles are so high, you're paying for something you can't even use. So you've got businesses or families that are literally paying $8, $10, $12, $14,000 a year for health insurance, but you've got deductibles of $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. So unless it's like catastrophic care, unless you've got a major heart attack or something, if your kid is really sick, you're paying for it. If it's a minor operation, you're paying for it. So you're going to pay for health care because the deductibles are so high, and they're still compelling you to buy health insurance, which is bankrupting you and your family. That's Obamacare in a nutshell. In other words, okay? In other words, what this does is it gets rid of a lot of that. It says, no, you're going to get something that you pay for. And you're not going to pay 10, 12, 14, 15,000 because now you can buy it across state lines. You can bargain with the health insurance companies. You can pool your resources together with others. You're going to pay $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 a year. And the deductible is not going to be 5,000 or 500. It's going to be 100 or 200 bucks. In other words, a bare bones a healthcare plan that's tailor-made for you. I'm not mentally ill. I don't need that coverage. I'm not going to get pregnant, or I'm too old to get pregnant. I don't need that aspect of Obamacare. I just want the burger. I just maybe make it medium rare with a little bit of cheese, throw in some ketchup, mustard, lettuce, tomato, couple of French fries. I'm good to go. That's all I need. My friends, Trump has now done more in, the last couple of weeks since Obamacare went down in failure than Republicans did in 7 long years. I want to salute Rand Paul, and I want to salute the president. Finally, we've got some action. 617-266-6868. Let me ask you, do you support Trump's latest executive order? Do you believe that you should be allowed to purchase and buy health insurance across state lines? Is this now the beginning of the unraveling of Obamacare? Nick in Weymouth, you're up first. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, good afternoon, Jeffrey. I've been banging my head against the door for months and months after the repeated failures of the Republican establishment, and of course the Democrats refusing to budge. Remember Catherine Sebelius and whoever the hell replaced her? What did they do? Remember when their midterms came along and deadlines came along about number of employees, levels, stuff like that, and they kept pushing those things out so they could skate past the elections. Remember all that stuff?
Yes.
And why did they do that? Because it was going to implode even earlier. Okay, so the thing has the secret back doors were always there. Whoever is in charge of health and services has wide latitude to make all kinds of changes, right? I'm assuming he's doing executive order because there's no one in charge over there yet of healthcare since what's his name left recently. So that I think someone's coming in. What I'm saying is, this is how you nail them, Jeff. You're right on with all this because. And what the beauty of this is, as you straighten it out and you proceed forward, right, just like they said, people got used to the free health care. So, no, they're going to get used to a better plan and a better idea. And it'll all evolve into something else. But this is the way to go. Attack it from the inside. And guess what? They brought it upon themselves because they left all those back doors open because they knew it was going to screw up. Hey, thanks very much, Jeff.
Thank you. Well, Nick, you nailed it. That's the thing. The Democrats ultimately knew this thing was going to fail. It was set up to fail. And so what Trump has now done, he's really checkmated both the Republicans and the Democrats, because now you're going to get a better plan, or many people, millions of people, you're going to get a significantly better plan. And the genius of this, it costs you nothing in terms of the taxpayer, right? This is the thing. By having this, that's why it's the perfect free market reform. It costs the taxpayers zero, nada. Because now you're just having people pool together, saying it's all kosher, it's all legitimate, you can do it, and let the insurance companies bargain for your money. And let them bring their prices down. It's a great natural free market way to let prices go down, more choice, more competition, and get better quality health care. In fact, that was Trump's point himself. Roll it, Brittany.
These health insurance policies are not subject to any very expansive and expensive Obamacare coverage mandates and rules. The cost of the Obamacare has been so outrageous, it is absolutely destroying everything in its wake. They were so attractive that just last year, the previous administration crippled the market in an effort to keep people from fleeing the failing Obamacare plans. In fact, they prevented these plans from lasting more than 3 months. They will take action to fix that and to make these affordable, flexible plans much more widely available. So we're going to have a very widely available plan that's going to cost much less. And from the standpoint of the United States government, we will be very happy, won't we, Virginia? We will. So they'll get better, and it will cost us nothing. That's not too bad, right?
Bingo. Trump said we will fix Obamacare piece by piece by piece. This is a seminal piece. Trump has led. Congress hasn't. Okay, my friends, Trump now signs a very important executive order allowing insurance, private health care insurance, to be sold across state lines. It's going to lead, he says, to much cheaper health care in terms of costs, more choice, more competition, and also better quality health insurance. You like the idea, you don't like the idea. 617-266-6868. John in New Hampshire, you're up next. Go ahead, John.
Good morning, Jeff. A couple of minutes ago, you made reference to the Obamacare being equivalent to the VA medical center.
Yes.
If I may give you a personal story, what the VA does and how they treat people, it happened to have been Friday, December 13th, 2013, that I personally went in to West Roxbury, Mass, for what should have been, any other hospital would have called it a routine kidney stone removal. 72 hours later, my wife found me on the floor in a puddle of blood, having hemorrhaged because the VA scratched through 6 arteries in my kidney, refused to authorize an ambulance, and I ended up spending 2.5 weeks in ICU at Leahy Hospital.
Oh, my God.
The VA refused to pay the bills, and I spent a year completely incapacitated because of it. That's the type of treatment people are going to get if Obamacare doesn't get taken down, because that's the way the veterans are being taken care of right now.
Well, you know, John, it's funny you should mention this, because when you were describing what the bad care, the horrific care that you were getting, I was honestly thinking about back when I came from, Canada, my days in Canada, when I was born and raised there, and that's very, very common in that single-payer system up there. You're not treated. They leave you alone. You're on your own. You're lucky if you see a doctor. They see you late. You get garbage care. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. Now, the difference, though, is this, John. Canada is a country of 33 million. We're a country of 330 million. There's a reason why China does not have public health care. There's a reason why Germany doesn't have government-run health care. When you're talking about that many people, you're going to have even worse rationing. So it's exactly what you're saying. It's going to be the VA for everybody, literally everybody.
And and to me, VA stands for virtually abhorrent health care.
John, thank you very much, and thank you for your service. Look, that's why I'm against socialized medicine. I've seen it. It doesn't work. And don't even take my word for it. I'm not talking about Canada or Sweden or other countries. Just ask the vets. That's a pure government-run healthcare system. Ask them. You like the way you're treated? You like your health insurance? You like your coverage? That's what's waiting for you, America. Rob, you're up next. Go ahead, Rob.
Jeff, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you, Rob?
Listen, I got rid of my health insurance through the connector about 4 months ago. I joined a health alliance out of Ohio. Deductible was $500, and everything else, what they do, there's 140,000 members in this association. That's what they do. Then they negotiate all the regular services, everything.
So you're saying, hold on now, Rob, so you're saying you're already getting this kind of insurance?
Correct. I'm getting it out of Ohio.
I don't get it, though. So now, Rob, you live in Massachusetts.
Yes, this is it's a health sharing group, okay? There's 140,000 members, My deductible is $500. I have to come up with the first $500, and everything else I go to the doctor, and what they do is the association basically negotiate for the services if I need something. Obviously, you have to look at pre-existing injuries and all these other things. But I've had 8 surgeries, so I know exactly what those are. Jeff, if I was Jeff Deal, you know what I'd do? I'd form an alliance in the state of Massachusetts with 3.2 million members and call it the Deal Insurance Program. And go right for our own insurance. We don't need these people. You don't think these insurance companies come in after 3.2 million people?
Rob, that's a brilliant point. Rob, that's an absolutely brilliant point. Well, look, that's what I mean. That's why I had Senator Rand Paul on before multiple times. Brittany, I think we're getting him on again next week, right? Looks like it. So he'll give you all the details about this, right? He knows this like the back of his hand. But this is what I've been talking about. There is a free market alternative that the Republicrats and the Democons up on Capitol Hill don't want you to know about. This is part of it. And it's going to revolutionize healthcare, but for the better. 617-266-6868. Let's take it to the newsroom.
Today's a big day. President Trump is doing what I believe is the biggest free market reform of health care in a generation. This reform, if it works and goes as planned, will allow millions of people to get insurance across state lines at an inexpensive price.
617-266-6868 if you want to be part of the show. Trump signs a major executive order beginning now to slowly, seriously unravel Obamacare. Now you can purchase, buy, or sell health insurance across state lines. It's going to affect not just millions, really tens of millions of Americans. I think it's a great idea. Lower cost, more competition, more choice. Let people decide what's the best health plan for them and their families. Agree, disagree. Okay, we've got Mr. X on the line. He works for the VA but doesn't want to be identified, hence the pseudonym Mr. X. Mr. X, thanks for calling and welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm on my lunch hour, so I got to be quick here. I think that I'm glad that this is happening. I think this is long overdue. There needs to be competition. I am proud of working for the VA, but I think that there's some serious systemic problems, and those have been well documented. And I think that the system clearly needs to be reformed, and that reform would take shape. Would take the shape of. I would like to see the VA divest itself of the medical portion and keep the psychiatric component. I think the private sector could do a better job with the medical care. I think they could privatize the existing facilities. The big problem with the VA is the lack of accountability. About 25 to 30% of the VA workforce are veterans themselves. I am not a veteran, but there are a lot of good people who work for the VA. I'm not just trying to, sound good here. But that gets lost in the picture, and I think that this.
No, Mr. X, hold on. I don't want to cut you off, but look, you're right. Look, we know there are very good people at the VA. We know there are a lot of vets who work at the VA. No question about it. But you almost anticipated my question. You work at the VA. You're an insider. Why is it so profoundly dysfunctional? And you're saying because there's a lack of accountability, right? That when people do something wrong, no one's fired or suspended or held accountable.
I have seen people who should have been fired and who would have been. I've also worked for hospitals in the private sector, so I've had the ability to see it from both perspectives. And clearly, in the private sector, accountability is much more prevalent. And I've seen people shoveled around, and that happens, unfortunately. Look at the leaders up in Manchester. That one of the people who was dumped out of there is a finalist for a job in another program. Now, how can that happen?
That's unbelievable.
Makes no sense.
Mr. X, thank you for that call. Well, look, think of the Department of Children and Families. Just think of DCF. What did they do? You've got babies dying, literally children, babies dying because of sheer neglect, no oversight, and nobody's getting fired. And they're just being kicked around. When there's a press story or a media story, or frankly, when I'm breathing down their neck and exposing them, okay, so they just move one person from one end of the department to another end of the department, from one aspect of the agency to another aspect of the agency. That's government healthcare. That's frankly government everything. And that's what I saw up in Canada. It didn't matter. Look, okay, true story. True story. We had nurses that refused to care for my mother-in-law at certain times when she had oral cancer. Okay, she was dealing with cancer of the throat, cancer of the mouth. And they wouldn't come in and do their jobs. They're on their, not even lunch break, they're always on lunch break. They're laughing, they're giggling, they're eating, they're snacking. And when we asked for them, could you please, she needs water, could she get a towel, something? Hey, blank off, we'll see you when we see you. You file complaint after complaint after complaint. Nothing happens. Why? Because it's a public monopoly. It's the government. They control everything. So what are you going to do? Take your dying mother-in-law to another hospital? It's the same government system. So this is why, to me, for all of, look, it's not perfect. Nothing in the world is perfect. The more free market a healthcare system is, the more accountable, because you know why? You're not just patients, you're customers. And I remember I had pneumonia. It was years ago. Often I get pneumonia in the summertime. I've got summertime pneumonia. Okay, it was about maybe 10 years ago. Bush was still in office. He was president. My mother was visiting us. This is when we were living in Maryland. And so I went to a local health facility. We walk in. It's clean. Multiple TV screens. You've got CNN on. You've got Fox on. You've got ESPN. Nurses right away. What's the problem? They're already talking to me. Within 10, 15 minutes, I'm being seen by a doctor. My mother, I'll never forget this, said, "This is not a hospital. This is a hotel." And she goes, "And the Americans want our system in Canada?" That's what she said to me. She goes, "They're crazy." In fact, she spoke to me in Croatian then. I was being, getting rehydrated and everything. It's actually even funnier in Croatian. Like, these Americans they've gone like gaga. They've lost their minds. Are they all lunatics? That's the rough translation. Like, have the Americans lost their minds? Like, what's wrong with these people? Nothing beats capitalist medicine. And I say this to Canadians all the time. Try it. Try it. When I go back up to Canada, I go, guys, try it. Oh, once you've tasted capitalist medicine, you're never going back. Gene and Draycut. Go ahead, Gene.
Yeah, Jeff, my name's Gene.
Hi, Gene.
I just wanted to call in. My wife and I retired almost 3 years ago now. We retired early. And we had COBRA through work for the first year and a half that we retired.
Yes.
She came off the COBRA about 6 months before she turned 65, so we had to pick up insurance. So we contacted the state. It was going to cost us $19,000 a year for a premium, and then another $10,000 a year for deductible, $29,000 a year. We carried it for 2 months. We never had any issues, so I dropped it. And she went on Medicare when she turned 65. I've been a year and a half without insurance because I refused to pay it. It was going to be $8,500 a year for me plus a $5,000 deductible. We don't get, like I said, we're retired, so we're on fixed income. We still make too much for them to give us any subsidies. So we had to pay the cost ourselves. I don't need pregnancy insurance, and I don't need child orthodontic surgery or anything like that. I don't need to pay those premiums. I didn't need that kind of coverage. All I wanted was something that would pay my medical expenses over the last year were $4,500. I paid that out of pocket, which was a hell of a lot less than I would have had to pay for the insurance. And what Obama did to us is he took quality medical care away from us and gave us crap. And what Trump is trying to do is give us back a choice. We don't need all this coverage. I'm going on Medicare next month anyway, so I don't care. That's going to cost me little over $200 a month. And I get great coverage.
Gene, look, I'm telling you right now.
Obamacare just absolutely sucks.
Gene, thank you for that call. No, it does suck. It really does suck. What you're describing is what's happening all over the country. Jeff, premiums $8,500 plus deductible $5,000. But you're lucky because you're in the greater Boston area. You've got places in Iowa, I'm not kidding, in Arizona, where you're not even allowed to go to you have one health carrier, one, under Obamacare. And they won't register the local doctor. So you can't even see your local doctor. You literally have to drive, I'm not kidding, 40, 50, 60, 70 miles just to see your doctor. That's how bad it is in some other parts of the country. But as you were talking, this executive order is aimed exactly at people like you. Exactly. $8,500. That's a lot of money. But let's just let that go. Okay, Gene, for a second. To me, I'm looking at the $5,000 deductible. So you want me to pay $8,500 a year? And what do I got to do? No, really, get shot? Like, for you guys to be able to take care of me? Because a $5,000 deductible, $5,000, I'll tell you this, I don't need you with a $5,000 deductible. I'm paying $5,000 out of pocket. Unless there's, I told you, a heart attack, I'm getting shot, something. $5,000. Guys, what's the point of me having health insurance? So you're being shafted on both ends. You're being forced, under the mandate, to buy extremely expensive health insurance. And then on the other end, you're not even freaking covered. You still got to pay out of pocket up to $5,000. So what Trump is rightly saying, and Rand Paul is, no. Gene doesn't need, I thought you said it very well, doesn't have a child, he's not going to get pregnant, doesn't need whatever mental health or psychiatric coverage or whatever. So he doesn't need an $8,500 a year plan. He needs a $2,000 a year plan with maybe a $250 deductible. And that's it. Adios. Gene's happy. We're happy. Insurance company makes a little bit of money. Gene gets some nice coverage. Everybody walks away happy. And guess what? The government is not the middleman. See, they want the government to always be the middleman. That's their power. That's their wealth. That's their control. Remember this about Obamacare. It was never about health care. It was always about control over you, your life, your family, your health. Andy in Nebraska. Go ahead, Andy.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. So I just wanted to talk about this from the perspective of someone who, along with his girlfriend, is soon going into the workforce full time. Both of us couldn't be more grateful for the fact that we're going that the premiums will go down, because although I'm a little bit younger than she is, we both help out to pay various things. So, I mean, I've been getting a bit concerned with some of the things Trump is doing, but I'm very, very happy with this.
You should be, Andy. And look, and here's the thing, and thank you for that call. Look, here's the thing. You want to know how bad Obamacare is? All you got to do, did the politicians take it for themselves? That's all. Look, that's it. Like, we don't have to get into the exchanges, the premiums, the deductibles, just very simple. If it's that good, if the coverage is that good, if the healthcare is that good, is Elizabeth Warren on it? Is Ed Markey on it? Is, I'm just thinking, Nancy Pelosi, is she on it? Chuck U. Schumer, is he on it? Mitch the Squish McConnell, Paul Ryan O'Ryan in that mansion of his up in Wisconsin. Tell me, is he on it? If it's that good, if it's the gold-plated plan, if it's such a great plan. They exempted themselves. And by the way, they're staffers. So everybody in the swamp got a mother exemption, but you weren't exempted. And then, to me, this was the cherry on the sundae. You want to talk about how we took it up to you-know-where on this one. is when Obama knowingly, we now know this, knowingly knew he was lying, looked at us in the face, not once, not twice, but 26 times, said, you like your doctor? You can keep your doctor. You like your health care plan? You can keep your health care plan. This, for those of you that have health insurance, this will not affect you in any way, shape, or form. Millions lost their doctors, millions lost their health care plan, and more millions of us, our premiums went right through the freaking roof. This was a massive transfer of wealth. That's what this was. From then, the people who were insured to the takers. That was his base. And he gave away our health care and our money. And what Trump and Rand Paul are now saying, it's over. It's over. We're going to give it right back to the people who got shafted, and that's you and me. Mike in Chelmsford. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Jeff. Good afternoon, and thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure, Mike.
I agree. I agree with you. I mean, Trump, he's got a pen and he's got a phone, and he knows how to use it. And then 2018, some taxes and stuff kick in, and it's going to be a long 10 months for the Democrats because the elections are in November. But one other thing that people have forgot. In 2015, Senator Rubio from Florida introduced legislation not to bail out the insurance companies. And Obama signed it, and he put the nail in the coffin because ever since then, they've been losing money and they're bailing out. So in 2018, a lot of the insurance companies are going to be bailing out, and states are going to have nothing.
Mike, thank you for that call. Well, I think you just touched on it. That was the ultimate plan, was to so burden the health insurance companies that eventually they would say no mas, and they're going to pull out of market after market after market. And then as these exchanges, these markets collapse, then the groundswell, the pressure would grow, let the government just sweep in and take over everything. I think that was clearly Obama's plan. That was Pelosi's plan. That was the Democrats' plan. And so that's why what Trump is now doing is, to me, presenting a viable alternative. And that's why the Democrats are going they're going berserk. They're going berserk. And so if our healthcare system is saved, really there's two people that are going to be responsible for it. Senator Rand Paul and President Donald Trump. Let's go to Franklin in North Andover. Go ahead, Franklin.
Hey, Jeff, are you there?
I'm here.
Listen, I
can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I just want you to know that I think you do a fantastic job.
Thank you,
My family and I listen to you every day, and we thank you for your defense of the Constitution and the flag and our national anthem, and anybody that doesn't like it is welcome to leave.
Amen, brother.
There you go. Now, listen, I am a Vietnam veteran, and I've been hostage to the Jamaica Plains VA hospital in Boston, and I can only tell you, I wouldn't go back there for an aspirin. I mean it. Now, I want you to hear this. Everything you've been talking about Donald Trump and what he's doing is fantastic, but don't overlook the fact that what he's trying to do is wrestle this out of government's hands, out of Obama's hands, and put it to the taxpayers and the states, and bring business back to the people so we can make our own decisions. That's exactly what Obama doesn't want.
Bingo.
That's exactly what he doesn't want.
Franklin,
he does not want private business growing strong again. And Donald Trump is a very smart businessman.
Franklin, thank you very much, and thank you for your service. I love you, Vietnam. I love all the vets, but I really love you, Vietnam vets. 617-266-6868. Look, that's to me why I love Rand Paul, why I voted for Trump. Get the power out of the hands of the bureaucrats in Washington and give it back to you, the American people. And this, I'm not saying it's a silver bullet, but this is a big first step. Carol in Bridgewater. Go ahead, Carol.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
I say kudos to Trump for pulling this off with Rand Paul. I've called every day since the first health care vote to say work with Rand Paul on the President Trump's line there. And then I also, feel as if, Yeah, I go to the VA. It's socialized type medicine. But if you're proactive, it works. And I have control issues, so I do kind of tell them what I want. So it works for me. But there's delays. They're triple booked at times. You have to wait out. So you're right with that. But what that caller was talking about was there's a Dr. Elena George, talking about direct primary care, which is already doctors that have formed their own little groups, and they cut out the middleman, the hospital, and it's, your direct primary care. They negotiate prices. It's $50 to something a month per person. So we had those little groups already starting to pull away, like from Compass. It happened in East Bridgewater, some doctors. So there were doctors that were trying to help the people already.
Well, Carol, look, thank you for that call, Carol. Look, 2 quick points. We've got to get out now? Like right now? Okay. Privatize health care at the VA. The veterans should go. The vets should go to any doctor of their choice. Full stop. Full stop.
The voice of Boston is you. 680 WRKO Boston, 93.7 WEEI HD2 Lawrence, Boston. It's 1 o'clock.